Hello, you wonderful weirdos, this is Dari Darka. Another month and another season has passed, and it is time to show you my bullet journal planning for the month of June. I am actually starting out a new journal since I already ran out of pages from my previous one. I used the other journal as a sketchbook in a previous lifetime, so the pages ran out quickly. But all is fine. Time to migrate into a new one. For this journal, I am using a sketchbook and I covered it with this luscious looking fabric that I found in my fabric stash. The black motifs have a bit of a velvety texture, so I am already enjoying this journal. This is a good way to change the cover of your journal to your liking and have it match to your theme if you are following one. Anyways, yeah, the pages of the sketchbook aren't dotted. I did buy it originally for my sketching after all, but I wanted to take on a challenge on journaling on a blank of paper and see how well I go with planning out the layouts. Also, it is somewhat larger than an A5, so I'm looking forward for the extra space. As you can see, for the first page, I am blacking it out using acrylic paint. I was planning on using black paper, but I couldn't find any in the local shops for me to purchase. So painting it is. I actually found it to be better than using black markers, and it reminded me of the times when I used to paint with acrylics, so it was rather therapeutic for me. And of course, I had to add a crescent moon because I am obsessed with the symbol, and you will notice me incorporating it in everything. For the fine details of the title, I used a felt pen and filled in the white spaces. And finally, I got a white gel pen, so I'm using it to add the date and month underneath the title. All of the information about the pens I used will be in the description down below. The next page is the key page, and I covered it in black paint again, leaving white spaces for the crescent moon, title, and where I want to add the information about the keys. To be honest, I am not really fast with the keys and how I use them. I constantly change them to see what works for me and what doesn't. This is my 6th month bullet journaling, so I am still learning and adjusting the right methods. And I think this is the beauty of bullet journaling. It is good to start out with a structure, but there is no reason to stick to it if it isn't working out for you. Also, that extra box at the side, yeah, I will eventually put a quote there, but I'm not really sure what. If you have a suggestion, do leave a comment down below. The next page is the grid page. I have came across this page technique when I was researching for bullet journal ideas. I basically divided this page in half, thirds, and quarters and added the measurements. I found this to be very helpful when I need to do the layout spreads, especially because I do not have spaces marked already. Next is my future log spread. I use this to give me an overview of the upcoming months and jot down any important dates. Since I am not sure how much pages I use for each month and how long the journal will last, I only include 6 months, especially because I am in mid-year. After filling out the black areas both in ink and paint, I noticed that my white gel pen doesn't work well over the black ink. So you have to be mindful of the tools you use when you combine them. This is the reason why you keep seeing me using the paint even for small areas, especially where I want to use my white gel pen. However, I still use my finer markers and pens to fill in the details and tidy up the edges. Also, I couldn't fit the month of December, and as I am editing this video now, I realized I could have swapped the June section with the December section, but we learn from our mistakes, and this is not a big deal. I will most probably combine the events in the November section. No biggie. Next is the wish list. I divided this page into 3 sections. One for the things I want to buy, other for the things I need to buy, and at the bottom is for the things that I am waiting to arrive since I do buy things online. It is pretty self-explanatory. Then there's the goals page. Oh, how I am terrible with goals. But I wanted to give this a go and divide my goals into 3 sections: YouTube, business, and personal. Also, you see me making a mistake here, and I fixed this by cutting a small piece of paper from a page from the back of the book and stick it over the mistake. Then I rewrote the correct title. Easy peasy. Then there's the cleaning page. Just to let you know that the setup I am using for my journal is inspired by a YouTube video that Elizabeth posted in her Plant-Based Bride channel in 2019. Do check out her video for a better explanation of her setup. There will be a link down in the description down below. Anyways, cleaning. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't need a cleaning to-do list? I do have to take care of the cleaning in this apartment, so I'm hoping that this page would help me out keeping the place nice and clean more often, and also get a better idea on how to plan out my days. Next is my ideal day page. I usually plan out my day hour by hour in my weekly pages or daily pages anyways, since I found that to be the best method for me to stick to the tasks and know what I need to do next. However, mapping out an ideal day like this one will also help me out with the planning and having this page to resort to. Yet again, I made another mistake. I blacked out the time frame and forgot to go over the hours with a white gel pen. But here's a photo of how it looks afterwards. Then I did the subscriptions and bills page. Again, it is pretty self-explanatory. The next and final spread for the new journal setup is the Kanban board. Now, I've never heard this type of spread before, and I've seen it in Elizabeth's video that I mentioned before, and I thought it would be incredibly helpful for me to manage my YouTube videos, so I decided to give it a go. I definitely recommend to check her video out, and she also has an in-depth tutorial just for the Kanban board spread. But to explain what I am doing in my page, I added 7 sections on both pages, and each section will represent different stages of the project, from planning and filming to color correcting, doing voiceovers, and exporting. Then for each project, I cut a sticky note and attach it to the board. Every time I complete a task, I will move the sticky note to the corresponding space. I think the spread is really neat, and I can't wait to make use of it. This will definitely give me more incentive to work on my projects because it does feel like it's a game. Now it is time to set up the spreads for the month of June. Here I found a typeface that I wanted to incorporate in my journal, and since I am not best at drawing typefaces, I used the lightbox trick using my phone. Because as if I haven't got tired of it yet, and to go along with my journal theme, I used the crescent moon for my circular calendar and then divided the circle into 32 parts. First I quartered it, then I found the middle of those quarters, then I found the middle of those sections, and so on. I found this method to be quicker and easier way to set up a circular calendar, although you will be left with a space or two depending on the month, but that doesn't bother me. I am also aware that I haven't left enough space to write much around the calendar for upcoming events, but I can easily squeeze them in the empty spaces. If you are doing the spread yourself, I recommend doing a smaller crescent moon or place it in the middle. I also added a section for my monthly goals, any particular tasks that need to be done that month, and a section for extra notes. Here I can add any upcoming events that doesn't fit in the calendar, and of course I also added a square calendar for a better overview of the weeks. Next is my monthly tracker. This is different than my usual monthly expenses spread. I used those spreads for me to get an idea of how much I was spending on things. Now for this one, I wanted to try the basic money tracker where I will be including also my income. By doing this, I am hoping to be able to collect enough information and be able to budget my months accordingly in the future. If not, it will be used as a brain dump and to doodle on this page. Then I am doing the things to do spread, where I will be jotting down any tasks that pop in my head that needs to be done, and put them in the corresponding categories. I found this spread to be the most helpful of all spreads, better than the goals page because it keeps me on track of the things that I need to do and be incredibly organized. Any tasks that are in the spread, I will then add them in the weekly tasks pages according to the daily planning. I do not limit myself for these tasks to be done in a month. Anything that is left unchecked will be transferred to the next month. However, the main goal is to check off as many tasks as possible. The next page is going to be dedicated for my Witchcraft Journey. I'm not starting a grimoire or a book of shadows yet because I am still new, so instead I'm going to use this spread as I start my exploration. If you practice witchcraft yourself or know any books or blogs that I can read for beginners, I would really appreciate if you can share it either in the comments down below or DM me in my Instagram @DoriDarka. Last but not least is the weekly page. I divided the page into 4 vertical sections on each page, one for each day of the week, and the last section for a small habit tracker and space to add extra notes. This is by far my favorite weekly layout that works best for me. Since I prefer planning my day hour by hour, this gives me enough space to do so while at the same time gives me an overview of the whole week, thus keeping me productive. I found that doing daily pages actually makes me feel claustrophobic because I have no idea what lays ahead. Remember, the beauty of having your own bullet journal is that you can personalize it exactly to your own needs, and if one layout or spread doesn't work for you, simply change it or ditch it completely. It's all up to you. So that is it for today. I hope you lovely weirdos enjoyed watching this video. I am very aware that the aesthetics of my journal aren't as neat or as professional looking. I am also somewhat new to bullet journaling, so I'm constantly making mistakes. But I also wanted to show you that even if you are a goth, a witch, or an alternative person with darker tastes, you can still have a cool looking journal that matches your desired style. And I hope this video will inspire you to have your own gothy or dark bullet journal. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget, you lovely weirdos, be dark, be you, and I see you in the next video. Bye!